Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shaiba Rakathon to all my brothers. Shalom Shalom Yahweh Il Athan by Shem Yahweh Shai to all my sisters. This is Officer Darak of the I.S.U.P.K under Commandant General Yohana, started at 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We are the home of the truth. We are here to prove that the Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. So we're here for our people. We are not concerned with the other people. We are here to get our people's minds right. Like the book says, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. And are we not desired? Are we not the most hated people on the face of this planet? Are we not mocked in movies? So, today's topic is, how do I prove myself? It's a good question. How do I prove myself worthy so that I could avoid judgment? It's a very important thing that you need to know, not only for yourself, so that you could teach your brethren, your neighbor, who is the Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. So it's very important. And there's a couple of things you need to do. Of course, you know you need to keep the statute, laws, and commandments. But there's more than that than you have to do. You need to study. You got to study so that you could, that's one of the ways you prove yourself worthy. But we're not just going to take my word for it. We're going to go and see what the book says on this topic. And we're going to go to Second Timothy chapter 2 verse 15 and see what he has to say about this matter. And that's Second Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. Second Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth. So you need to study. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to embrace your culture. Don't let these people shame you not to say that you are Israelite. They're not scared to say they're a Jew, so why should you be scared? Next thing you know, like it is now, we don't know. A lot of us don't know our native tongue. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we know it. We know the language that we spoke, Paleo Hebrew. And this ain't no made up language. This is the actual language that the Dead Sea Scrolls was written in. One of the languages. It was actually deciphered into 3 languages. So that our brothers and sisters who went into the other nations could find out the truth and know what they needed to do to come back into the fold, because they had just got so far away. So yeah, you got to study. You need to know the statutes, laws, and commandments. Our people are dying because they lack knowledge. They're dying out there every day. Gang violence is just off the chains. Abortions, so baby in the woman's womb and she's calling it's not a baby. We need to educate our people because we're dying. Last hired, first fired. So with that, we're going to move on. But that's one of the things you need to do. You need to study. And I'm going to go to Luke chapter 14, verse 23. Because Mashiach gave us orders, which was a commandment, something that we're supposed to keep. Christian church don't keep the commandments. They don't keep the laws. Since Christ died, they say, oh, just the heck with it. They read this book. Your pastor read this book. He knows what John says, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments and they're not grievance. He know that scripture. He purposely avoided. He'll tell you the laws is not done away with it, but pay your tithes though. That's a law. Yeah, he'll quick to point out that law. Don't miss paying your tithes. He want more than your 10%. Okay, well that 10%, that was for God. But what about the pastor fee, this fee, that fee? Plate coming around the church 4 or 5 times. So let's see what Christ, who the Christians say they follow, right? That's what Christian mean, to be Christ-like. Let's see if they follow Christ. Let's just see what Luke in chapter 14, verse 23, and this is our King's word. This is Christ, the one who they say follow. This is what he says. Luke chapter 14, verse 23. And the Lord said unto the servants, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. Yeah, that's exactly what it says. Go into the highways and the hedges. Go out there on the streets. Go, where you see us. That's why we have camp. Because this is a commandment. So there's more than 613 statutes, laws, and commandments. There's proof that there's more right there. So don't let those people tell you that there's only 613 statutes, laws, and commandments, because they're going to cause you to err and you'll end up breaking one. That's why we're here. To clarify this for you, to give you understanding. Not just to know the scripture, but that you understand actually what it means. Spread that knowledge. Nah, brother, the laws ain't done away with. Okay, man, you eating all that, hey, you're going to cause the Most High to turn his face from you. You're risking judgment. You want to keep yourself, your family safe. You want to have life and in an abundance, or do you want to shorten your number of days? See, that's the problem that's going on with people today in our society, is that they've been taught that the laws are done away with. So it's do it thou wilt. All you got to do is call upon his name and you'll be saved. So they're out there ripping and running. Well, at the last minute, I could just call on his name. No, brother, it ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. The pastor is teaching people that it's that easy, and it's not. You can't be a pedophile, a rapist, a murderer, a homosexual, and then upon right before your death, you think you've been wicked. What would be just about that? Our God is a just God. That's not just. That's not just. By grace, you have a short period of time to get it right so that you can avoid judgment. Judgment is coming. So with that, I'm going to skip over to Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. And let's just see, what Christ did. Because he wasn't a man of words. He just didn't run his mouth. He was a man of action. He actually went out there and got it in. He wasn't messing around. It wasn't no game to him. This wasn't no fashion show. He wasn't just saying, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to do it. Then, oh, well, you see, this came up and I'm going to have to get to that later. You guys go ahead. And neither did the disciples. They were with him. That's why we say we're one body. So let's just get to it. Let's go over here to Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. Now, let's set the backstage. Mashiach is at camp. He's at camp right now, waking brothers up, letting them know what time it is. He's deep behind enemy lines. Roman soldiers, Roman soldiers everywhere. So, Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with them. So he's sitting up there, he getting it in. He waking these brothers up. There's his brother and his mother. Over there. Verse 47. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brothers stand without, desiring to speak with thee. So, just somebody out the crowd. You know how it is, just like when we doing camp today, somebody always got something to say. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother? And who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my brother, my mother, and my brethren. He said, behold, look around you, man. This is my mother and my brothers right here, sitting right here with me at camp, getting it in, waking y'all up, bringing you the truth so that you could be saved. He wasn't just talking about it. He wasn't talking about what he was going to do. He was doing it. He wasn't just telling brothers to go out there and go do this and to do that. He didn't tell them to do nothing that he didn't do. He did it. He talked the talk, he walked the walk. You're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. That's the I.S.U.P.K way. So, just imagine. He over there, he doing this thing. Mother and brother come up, they sitting back in the crowd checking it out. They probably wasn't even finna interrupt at all. And somebody out the crowd, just some old naysayer trying to be disruptive because they wanted to eat pork and do whatever defiled thing they was doing, just trying to be disruptive. But Christ was about that work. Here in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohana, we're about that work. Our leader, our head of the I.S.U.P.K, Commanding General Yohana, he got it in. He talked the talk and he walked the walk, and he's still doing it. He still get out and do camp. He feeds his people. He has the 54th annual Passover coming up in North Carolina, Durham, which is a commandment for us to be there. All blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are welcome to come. It's a commandment. It's a commandment. That's the only requirement for you to come to the event. And it's going to be a glorious event. It's the most fun and safest I've ever had in my life. So, because we're about the statutes, laws, and commandments in the I.S.U.P.K. Ain't going to be no fighting and all that old chaos stuff. No, we're going to have nice, clean fun, plenty stuff for the kids to do. Bring your kids. So, as you can see, Christ was getting it in because talk is cheap. You could talk, man. I forgot what we was doing. Me and these brothers was trying to move something, and it was heavy. And we was like, oh, we should grab it like this. And they was like, we should grab it like that. And I said, you know what? We could talk about this for 2 hours, or we could go on and carry it up here in 15 minutes. Which one, talk, I mean, if you not getting nothing done talking about it. Talk is cheap. People will tell you anything too. People will tell you anything. Oh yeah, I'm I get this money, I'm gonna buy you a new car. They get that little money they said they was coming, you don't see them. They poof disappear. People tell you anything. Women tell you, oh, I love you, I love you, and you guys know it too. It's been countless times. Soon as that man go to work, what happened? Some dude just slipped in the back door. Now the man that came home early from work or forgot something, came home, caught somebody in the house, and now it's like it's on the news. He done went nuts, killed both of them. So talk is cheap, And I'm not condoning murder or nothing like that. Because Christ said, let him that it is without sin cast the first stone. But that's just the situation that can be caused just by just telling a person any old thing. I mean, here in the I.S.U.P.K, it's known that yes, in the scriptures you can have more than one wife, but you're not supposed to be no sneaky ass Negro sneaking around lying to your woman. That's what you're not supposed to do. There's rules and orders into how you deal with things. So we're going to go to James chapter 2, verse 25. That's James chapter 2, verse 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. You struggling. You just whatever your issue might be. It could be mental, it could be monetary, it could be physical. That's the beauty of this book. It's telling you how to get blessed. It's telling you. he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work. Doer of the work. Do. Just don't talk about it. Talk is cheap. You can sit there and just talk about it for you know you forget. It's best to just do it right away. Do it right away. You put it off, it might not get done. You know, people like don't put off tomorrow what you could do today because you don't know what tomorrow might bring. Something might, oh, well, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Then something pop up tomorrow. You couldn't get it done. Then the day after that, you already had plans or prior engaged arrangement that you have to go and get done. Now it didn't get done. When you could just did it right then and there in a short period of time and been able to like, I did that, I got that accomplished. Trust me, once you just do it instead of waiting and putting it off, it'll make you feel good. Something you can check off your list. Be a doer. Talk is cheap. Yeah, talk is cheap. And there's actually two type of people. There's the people that's doers, and there's doers. They're doing because they want to help. They're there to do their part. And there's those that need help. You know, everybody needs help every now and then, you know. So treat your brother as you treat thyself. So help your brother, but don't enable your brother to be sorry. If this brother keeps saying, I'm going to do, I'm going to do, I'm going to do, and you know, you cannot enable him to be sorry. Treat your brother, love your brother. You know, don't try and badger him over the head, you know, about what he's not doing, because, you know, before you start focusing on the speck in your brother's eye, you need to focus on that speck in your eye. Let the Most High in Christ deal with your brothers. They're the best teachers. Nobody could teach better than the Most High in Christ. If you got an issue with a brother, you can always take them to counsel. You know, and they'll counsel you through the scriptures. But you know, so be a doer. Be a doer. You know, and be a helper. You know, our people need help. You know, they're dying from lack of knowledge, and they need help getting this knowledge. This knowledge will save them. If you have this knowledge and man, you're not sharing this knowledge, you know how much of a disservice that you're doing to your people. It don't matter what time. There's been times at 11 o'clock at night, I just be up, start filming through the YouTube, find me a UPK. You know, one of the brothers, he get off work late. He doing his class late. That because he's a doer. 11 o'clock at night. He's a doer. He's not just talking about what he's gonna do. He does it. Most High in Christ. So I'm gonna go to Acts chapter 20, verse 35. Acts chapter 20, verse 35. I have showed you all things, how this is so laboring, you ought to support the weak and to remember the words of the Lord Yahweh Shai, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. How that so laboring, Salaki, I'm going to start from the beginning. I have showed you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak. So he showed you this ain't easy work. This ain't easy work. We got brothers that's trying to come up, and they're trying to show themselves worthy. I got your backs, brother. I got your back. You know what I'm saying? I'm that brother. I'm gonna call you and tell you, hey man, it's the holiday, blah blah blah. Hey man, I don't know if you know, but the Passover coming up, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Make sure you get all the yeast, anything with yeast in it, out your house. Yeah, I'm gonna share that information. I'm gonna share that because there was a point in time when I didn't know it, and I've been blessed for studying and sharing that information. And I got a lot of work to do. And to remember the words of the Lord Yahweh Shai, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So, me, I feel good about giving this information. I love receiving it. But it's a good thing to be able to share it. Because I know this might touch somebody. They might go and research it and be like, you know what? He's right. I need to make some changes in my life. I need to come to these I.S.U.P.K classes so that I can study and they can help me to understand. I've been showed this all wrong. There's so many scriptures that we bring out. I hear people tell me, I never heard that before. Yeah, because they don't want you to hear that. They're just trying to get your money and pacify you. And another thing, when you should keep your word, honor your word. You making this commitment, you gonna make a commitment to prove yourself. You want to prove yourself. Okay, well, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go to class. Honor your word. Do the things that you say you're gonna do. Just don't talk, talk, talk. Be a man of action. I'm gonna go to Numbers chapter 30, verse 2. And let's just see what our book has to say about that. Because this is my guide. This is what I use to guide my morals, to help me to make my decisions. And I will go get counsel. Numbers chapter 30, verse 2. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that pertaineth out of his mouth. Don't do the lip service thing. Don't do this lip service thing. I'm gonna do this. I'm a. Don't do that. Try your best. You might not be able to do it. Something might come up. Things happen. Try your best. Make an attempt. So you just don't look like, oh man, that brother always talking about what he gonna do, man. We gonna have to, I don't know, man. I just gonna have to take everything he say with a grain of salt. You don't want people to think that you like that. So that's how you prove yourself. Those are the steps you could take to prove yourself. Study, prove yourself worthy, get in class so that you'll have some understanding and you can share this information. Follow that commandment, go into the streets, spread this knowledge. You see what Christ said when he had camp. This is my mother and my brother. Be a helper. Don't be that needy guy. Everybody needs help, but don't always be the needy guy. Keep your word. Keep your word. That's how you prove yourself. It's right here in the book. So people might ask, okay, well, all this work, and it's not easy work. Look what they did to I.S.U.P.K. They took strands of leather with hooks on the end and was beating them. Every time they hit them and pulled back, they were ripping off flesh. So believe me, brother, what you talking about, you going through, it's nothing. Look at what they did to Peter. What you going through, yeah, we're going through it. We all go through it. Every brother in the school, in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Hanna. You think Commander General Yohana didn't go through it? General Mahayam, they've all been through it. That book say, they will hate you for my name's sake. I just had a bunch of posts of people just giving me hate mail. I love it. It made me smile. It warmed my heart because it said, yes, that's what Christ said. Feels great. I ain't said nothing. There's no hate speech. I'm just trying to wake up and help my people. But that's what he said. I even get that from my people. Other Israelite camps. I had another Israelite camp. I ain't going to put them on blast, but told me, I hate you niggas. And I said, you know what? Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Because I.S.U.P.K said that you would hate me for his name's sake. So let's go to Revelations chapter 21, verse 7. Let's go to Revelation and just see what is the blessing? What is the reward for all this work, for following these statutes, laws, and commandments? Let's just go and see. Revelations chapter 21, verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and the sorcerers and the idolaters and all the liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. That's it. Ain't no, you it's the second death. Woo. So there it is. He's telling you right there. So there is a reward. We get to sit with, Yahweh Shai, and we get to inherit everything. Everything. Complete rulership. This is gonna be, you know, we get the promise. This was promised to us, and we get the promise. So do the work, study, come to class. Don't do that limp sinking. Keep your word. You get the blessing. With that, I'm going to end this class. Shalom, Israel.